He's
Wolverine. I hear you're quite an animal.
Look who's talking.
Guys, my name is Alex Hampton, and today I'll be ranking every single X-Men movie that has come out. But before we get into that ranking, if this is your first time ever watching any of my videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, then hit that bell right next to it. That way you get all the notifications of every time I'm releasing a video here on Momentum Media. And guys, go ahead and hit that like button as well. That way all my videos can stay in the algorithm. That way you see all the content that's being produced here on Momentum Media. So the X-Men have about 12 films that have come out, and I'm going to rank them from, my best to least, and we're just going to jump right into it. So my number one pick is no other than Logan. Logan was like the best depiction of the old man Logan comic book / Elseworlds apocalyptic story where we literally see, Logan wrestling with his old demons. We see Logan wrestling and struggling with himself. We see Logan, in a sense trying to survive, but we also see him dying. And the aspect of seeing Logan struggle and just go through the things that he went through in that movie was actually just humbling and cool to see, because if you know the character of Wolverine, he can easily heal, and in this particular movie he ain't healing, and it was really cool to see that journey, the final days of what Logan is going to look like, throughout that story. We got the introduction of X-23 and some of the other new mutants in that story. We got to see Professor X before he got killed. So it was just such a humbling story. I really enjoyed that movie. Let's go ahead and jump into the second pick. The second pick is no other than Deadpool. Deadpool, if you guys don't know, Deadpool is an X-Men movie. He's an X-Men character, so that's why he's on this list. And I have to say, Deadpool, the first one, was freaking amazing. It was amazing. It was literally comic book comedy gold. Oh my God. It's literally a comedy making fun of itself. And just to see the action was dope. To see the relationship between Deadpool, Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, and Colossus was hilarious and really cool to see. To see Deadpool's relationship with the X-Men, in a sense where he doesn't want to join the X-Men, but the X-Men are very aware of who he is. It was just so cool to see that. Also, this is a love story, so we see him battling, telling his love that he's suffering from a disease, but this mutant powers has cured him, and it's weird. Like it's funny, weird, action packed. Love the movie. Definitely for my second pick. Number 3 is no other than X-Men Days of Future Past. This was the very first time when we got to see the rebooted version of the X-Men meet the X-Men that we know and love merge into one story. And I thought that the story was actually pretty cool. We got to see the X-Men fight the Sentinels. We got to see Peter Dinklage in the movie. We got to see, Wolverine basically working with the younger version of the X-Men. And we got introduced to Quicksilver in this movie, which I thought Quicksilver was hilarious, funny, and amazing in this film. So he was actually one of my favorite parts of that movie. So Days of Future Past has to be my number 3 pick. Number 4, no other than Deadpool 2. Definitely a step up from the first movie. I still enjoy the first movie better, but the comedic elements in that movie elevate. There's so many references to like Avengers Endgame or Avengers Infinity War and Batman, and it's just like they're making so many third world so many off-wall comments like, what is this, the DCEU, stuff like that. It's just so crazy to see, man. I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that they introduced the X-Force in this movie, but the funny thing about the X-Force, all of them die. They all die, and it's hilarious to see. And then the ending of that movie where we see Ryan Reynolds travel back in time to kill off, basically, his old version of himself, kill off, Green Lantern. That was just funny. But yeah, Deadpool 2 was definitely my number 4. Number 5 is no other than X-Men 2. I thought X-Men 2 was definitely a good story of how to tell the X-Men properly. We got to see, Iceman. We got to see Wolverine a little bit more mature and basically help run the school. We got to see the love elements between him and Jean, and that fight dynamic between him and Cyclops. So I thought that was cool. There's this one scene in that movie where we see I believe it's Magneto's troops storm the school, and Wolverine is taking them on one by one, and I thought that was so cool. Like, I just thought that was so cool. So X-Men 2 was so dope. Number 6 is no other than X-Men First Class. We got to see an introduction of a lot of new mutants and also mutants that we know. And it was cool to see that story told. I wish we could have gotten a better cohesive story throughout the rest of the movies, but I actually really did enjoy X-Men First Class. First Class was a really dope depiction of, these mutants trying to survive in this world where people are literally judging them because they have powers. So I thought that was actually pretty awesome as well. My number 7th pick is the first X-Men. The first X-Men, I didn't necessarily enjoy it as much when I first saw it. I definitely like the battle scenes. I like, the fight scenes. But as far as the story, it was kind of lax for me. I was just kind of bored watching it. And don't get me wrong, it's a good movie. It's number 7 for a reason, but it's one of the films that it didn't really catch on to me as the other films did. So that's why it's my 7th pick. Number 8 is the Wolverine, which is the sequel to X-Men Wolverine Origins. It was cool to see Wolverine in Japan. But this story was so boring. Oh my God. Like, I remember watching it. It was boring. It was boring, and I didn't really care to watch it that much, to be honest with you. And to be 100% honest, after watching what was going on in that movie, I was like, yeah, I'm ready for this to end. The really cool thing, though, was the end credit scene to set up Days of Future Past. So that's really about it. But other than that, that movie was kind of trash. My number 9th pick is no other than X-Men Last Stand. And The Last Stand was a trash movie that should have never been made. Should have never been made. Nothing about that movie made any sense. I understand that they were telling the Phoenix story, but I felt like they did not do that movie justice. Man, so many plot holes in that movie. God, I just couldn't stand it. I hated that movie. Let's go to my 10th pick, which is Wolverine Origins. That movie, here's the thing. I like the fight scenes and the introduction of Wade Wilson before he turned into Deadpool, and before they messed up his mouth. So there were certain redeemable parts about Wolverine Origins, but that story was so all over the place. I will say one of the most redeeming thing about that movie was Gambit. Taylor Kitsch's Gambit was actually really cool, but man, that movie was so bad. Like, Deadpool effed up, Wolverine going through relationship issues, stupid. Like, it was just, and then his relationship issue with Sabretooth, dumb, like not even believable. Trash movie. I hated it. My number 11th pick is no other than the X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, Dark Phoenix, I will say this, and I've said this before, I will not shit on this movie as bad as people are making it out to be. It's definitely an okay film, but it's also a really bad story that made no sense at all. I will say the action and the sci-fi elements and the effects of that movie were so cool, right? But it didn't really make any sense at all. It didn't make any sense, and honestly, I felt like that movie should have just stayed on the shelf. But it is what it is. It's not as bad as people making it to be, but it's not good. It's not a good movie. And my last one is no other than X-Men Apocalypse. Guys, I remember watching this in theaters. I almost slept through this movie. This movie is boring. It's boring, and I never believed that Apocalypse had that much power to rise up his children like Storm, Angel, and all these other X-Men characters who happen to become good characters in the future X-Men movies. This was dumb. That was just the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. But yeah, I was not a fan of X-Men Apocalypse. Boring villain, boring story, boring plot. Everything about that movie was just boring. So that is my ranking for the X-Men movies. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you get all the updates of every time I'm releasing a video here on my YouTube channel. And guys, if you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing here, just subscribe and you get to see all the different videos I'm putting out. Also support what we're doing on Patreon. Patreon's supporters do get incentives if you support my channel. And also guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching my top 10 MCU movies. That will definitely continue on Tuesday. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. And as always, you have a blessed day.